Well, hello and happy spooky season, pals. Speaking of spooky season, we are recording a special Halloween episode and we can't wait to hear from you. It's your turn to share your ghost stories with us, and we'll share as many of them as we can in our episode coming out October 29th. You can either write it out in an email or you can record yourself telling the story and send the audio file to spookysisterhood@gmail.com. Deadline is Saturday, October 18th by midnight. Can't wait to hear what you have for us, and of course, keep it spooky, Sibs. All right, Paranormal Pals, welcome to the Secret Society of the Spooky Sisterhood podcast. My name is Melanie. If you've stumbled into our headquarters, our not-so-secret society is a community built through social media to connect like-minded paranormal enthusiasts. And our goal is to lift up those in this space, especially but not exclusively women, who traditionally haven't had that opportunity. Each week we'll be joined by a member of the sisterhood, a special guest, or both, as we discuss one of many fascinating topics in the paranormal world. So let's call this meeting to order. As you can tell, this week is a little different. I'm hanging out today at Honey Baked Bee in Richmond, Virginia to celebrate their second birthday. If I had air horns or confetti cannons, this would be the place to put it. Honey Baked Bee is this super cute, spooky bakery. They have been open, obviously, 2 years. Like I said, this is their second birthday, and I've been in love with them since they opened. So I'm so stoked to be here today celebrating with them. And in this episode, hopefully we'll have a moment to chat with the Honey Baked Bee folks and hear how this came about. And we'll also talk a little bit about the spooky history of this area. This is the Church Hill neighborhood here in Richmond. We'll talk a little bit about the Church Hill Tunnel and the legend of the Richmond vampire. We'll also be chatting with anyone who stops by and wants to tell us a spooky story, if they want to share some of their encounters with Gary, the resident ghost here, any stories they have about Church Hill in itself. And yeah, so otherwise we're hanging out today, eating all the treats. You can't go wrong with anything. My personal favorite thing is probably the pumpkin bread. I'm going to eat a whole loaf of that today, probably. They've got birthday cupcakes. I love their quiche, their Pop-Tarts. I'm looking around and I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't tried yet, because obviously I would try that first, but I think I've had everything and I love it all. So if you're local to Richmond, hopefully you're able to come out and enjoy this. I will be here till about 12 today, so maybe a little longer, gotta see what kind of treats I have to stick around, and if I get too full and have to be rolled out the door. You guys, this is such a cute neighborhood. It's a really historic area, so there's a lot of old houses and stuff, but it's about 10 a.m. on a Sunday and there's people and dogs everywhere just wandering the neighborhood and popping in for a coffee and a cronut and a birthday cupcake today. But I've seen so many dogs and kids and families, and it's a super cute neighborhood. And I'll give you a little bit of a tour in just a minute and show you around the shop. But it's everything that your spooky little heart could desire. It's a cute little cafe, but it's got little spooky touches. It's got dark chandeliers, dark cabinetry, flowers, dried flowers. There's spooky art on the wall. I'll make sure to tag the artist in those. They're beautiful. There's little pictures and drawings of Gary the ghost. And yeah, it's wonderful. And I'll be sure to tell you a little bit more also about, they have a cause. I'm not sure if you can see this behind me. I'll be sure to take pictures and tag it. But they have something called the Bee Cause Project. And I will definitely be sure to tell you a little bit more about that as well.
So Wednesday, okay, our lights are out.
Yeah.
And then I go through and I check like all the cameras and there's no one there. And it was on when we got here the next morning.
Yeah. He just wants you to remember he's here.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So why did they tell you you weren't going to be successful?
All the businesses that are coming on in this building.
Yeah.
And then we're over the train tunnel.
Yep.
So it's haunted.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so tell me more about Gary was here when you got here.
Yes.
Gary's from the train tunnel.
Yes.
And your neighbor said this ain't gonna work out because of Gary?
Yes,
Or,
that the building's haunted, it's not going to be successful.
Did they think he was gonna run you out, like make you scared?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes.
And you were like, bet.
Game on. Let's prove you wrong.
So why did you pick this place then? Or had you picked it before they told you that?
Yes, we had already signed the lease for the building. We were renovating, and then I was told.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And you were like, okay.
Yeah.
Bring it on, Gary.
We love a friendly ghost.
And so Gary hangs out. Does he like show himself to you, or it's
We've
mostly
never
just,
seen
like...
him. We've heard voices. Me and my daughter when we've been here early.
Okay.
Cameras have moved. Lights have turned on and off. Actually, our opening day, my big 200-pound mixer went through my floor and into the basement. Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Was it because those are like they sit on the floor?
So it was
right?
up on the counter.
Up on the counter.
Yes.
And it fell and went through the floor.
Yes. Opening day.
Oh wow. So he was messing with you a little bit.
Yes. And we do get it here and there, but I mean it's nothing like he's not dangerous or mean.
I mean, I guess he's dangerous if you're in the basement on opening day. But otherwise, it sounds like you respect him, and
Yes.
now he knows that, so he's like, I'm just going to play a little trick.
Yes.
I'm not crying, I promise.
Oh, no,
My
you're
eyes
fine.
just watering. That's amazing. Okay, so Gary, the friendly resident ghost.
Yes.
And I love all the little, every time I come in, I love the little Gary notes and artwork. That's my favorite. And I love the little Gary chocolates, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to tell folks a little bit about like where we are, a little bit about the neighborhood and all of that. But can you tell me about yourself and like how this all came to be 2 years ago? Today? It's today.
Yes.
Specifically today. Okay, great. So how did all this happen?
So I'm fairly new to Virginia. I started off in New Jersey.
Okay.
Moved down to Delaware, took a teaching job for like 10 years.
Wow.
I decided I wanted to pursue administration, so I came to Virginia and did that for about a year and realized it just wasn't for me anymore.
Yeah.
And I went back to what I know best, which is baking.
Is that what you started out doing and then you moved into education?
I grew up in a big family. I was in charge of cooking nightly for everyone, baking. It's just cheaper instead of buying out.
Yeah, 100%.
And my grandmother owned an Italian bakery in New Jersey. So
Okay.
I grew up with her in there daily.
Yeah.
So what am I good at? Teaching and baking. So
Listen, that's a good combo, honestly. Someday when the apocalypse comes, those are two
great things.
transferable skills. I'm not good at anything except for talking, and at some point that's
Well,
just
you're
going to get
doing
annoying. Thank you. So you, this started back in 2023,
Yes.
obviously, and you call this a gothic-inspired bakery.
yes.
Obviously, anyone who comes in here will see that vibe.
Yes.
But do you try to like infuse that? I don't know why I'm holding this
You're
marker.
fine.
Do you try to infuse that into like your foods as well?
To an extent, I think our food is more honey based. We do sway when it's more like in the fall. We'll do like our red velvet, vampire rolls, which are cinnamon rolls.
So good.
Our cakes will be like candy themed to go with Halloween. So little things here and there, but mostly our baked goods is just
the classics.
huge classics infused with honey.
I've been raving about the pumpkin bread. That is hands down my favorite. That being said, I was like, I think I've tried everything else in here. I was like, I need to try something new today, but I'm not sure that. I need to try cronut today. Is what I need
yes.
to try because I have not tried
They're
one of
so
those
good.
yet.
So good. New, but so good.
Yes, and the pictures, I'm like dying over them. So you were talking a little bit about honey, obviously with the name and everything, and I saw back here the Bee Cause project.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
So my dad grew up on a bee farm. He loved honey. taught me how to bake with it when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I like to use a lot more honey than sugar in my products, especially the pumpkin bread and the coffee cake. They are more honey-based than sugar. And with me being a teacher, I wanted to incorporate some kind of education along with bees and including that.
Gotcha. I wish I had more education around bees because I'm terrified of them. I respect them. My partner Dave will tell you wherever he has disappeared to, I am terrified of wasps.
Okay.
And it took me a very long time to learn the difference. I thought anything that buzzed was a bee and it should die.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point now where like honeybees, we're cool, just leave me alone.
Yes.
Even yellow jackets, leave me alone and we're fine. But wasps, why? Why are they a thing?
Yes.
They like chase you, they're mean.
They have to keep things interesting.
Somebody's got to do it, I guess. Okay, so I think my other question for you, and obviously I'm going to talk about this because I am dying over the pictures I see of the wedding cakes that you do. They're beautiful. So you guys do a lot of catering and stuff too.
Yes. That was never the plan.
Yeah.
I had one of my very first customers come into me like 6 months after we opened and say, hey, we love what you do. Would you do our wedding cake? And I'm like, okay, I've never done this before. And like, we trust you. Just go for it.
Yeah.
It turned out amazing. I loved doing it. I felt there was a lot less pressure on me that I could just focus on one item solely.
Yeah.
So that just became my jam.
And it is taken off.
Yes, it has a lot more than what we thought.
Which is great news.
Yes, it's fantastic.
And you're able to obviously keep. I've not seen this many people in here in a minute. Like, if people are just in and out today, which is great. And it's always busy. I've never come in when it's not busy. But
so our first year, we will admit, it was not the best. I mean, it's my first time running a business.
It's hard.
It was very difficult. But now we know what Churchill wants, what Churchill needs, and we've catered towards that, expanded our menu to include savory items.
Yes.
So I have a crew that helps me run the front, and then I do the wedding cakes with me.
Just you?
Just me, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, you're crushing that, too. So tell us a little bit about your favorite Gary story.
My favorite Gary story.
It could be one that happened to you or one that somebody's told you about Gary.
I think it would have to be the mixer going through the floor, it being my opening day and just freaking out. What do you do when your big mixer goes through the floor?
I mean, what do you do? I think I would have just been like, you know what, close the door. I guess this is not happening.
This was a good try. Let's not.
Those damn neighbors were right. Well, so far you're showing them. And it's like Gary is kind of helping you out, honestly. I think he wants you to succeed.
And we love when people come in and will tell us stories that they've had in the neighborhood or in this building specifically.
Okay, so I think that's all my actual questions I have for you, but I'm so happy. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us your name, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I want to hear some stories.
Okay,
you
sure.
Tell me whatever you want. I'm all ears.
Sure. So my name is Karina. I have been actually with the bakery for, I think it was like 2 months now. What was it, like June, July?
Oh, yes.
And I'll be here every weekend just because this is my second job, it's part-time.
Okay.
But also, too, long story short as well, I was actually laid off from my old job. And then I was like, oh, well, I think it was 2 weeks before I actually came here, or I started here. It was just so funny because I came here with my husband, and I was like, I really just want to work here. Like on the weekends as like a side gig. Like this has been like my kind of like a dream to kind of be here. Just, I don't know, there's something that just drew me here.
It is. It's like this pull.
Yes. And I'm just over here like, okay, I'm hoping that I can get something here, like just to have a part-time job, get something started, get some money coming in. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, oh, we're hiring. And I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm sending that email. We're going in there. So it's been really cool. Just been here, meeting people, learning their stories, giving some of my own because, everybody just has their own story, their own background. And I studied social work, so me, getting to know people is kind of my jam.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing, just conversing with people and getting to know them. I think it was yesterday. One of my favorite stories, or I think two of them, was one yesterday. There was this lady. She wore like a jersey, and I recognized it instantly because it was from a local Colombian soccer team, and I'm half Colombian, so I'm Dominican and Colombian. So that's kind of like the preface there. But with that, she came in with a local jersey, and I was like, when did you go to Colombia? And she was like, 3 weeks ago. And we just talked about it the whole time. And it was like a really nice experience. It was really energizing just to kind of like hear her experience, how much she loved the country.
Yeah.
I also have my dual citizenship in Colombia as well.
Oh, okay.
So when she was telling me everything with her experience, I was like, yeah, I want to retire over there. Like, I really want to.
It made your heart like beat a little bit.
Yes, because it really makes you like really happy when somebody appreciates your culture.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things that I always enjoy whenever I talk to people about like my culture, being Latina, but also just like talking about the differences between the Dominican Republic and Colombia too. So
For sure.
yeah, it's really neat. But also as well, actually speaking about the Dominican Republic, I always feel like, at least when it comes to like my Dominican side of the family, because my grandmother, she passed away way before I was born. I think my dad was 13 when it happened.
Oh, wow.
And I always felt like she was kind of like my guardian angel. Like I always felt like she would be looking out for me anytime something happened.
Feel her.
I always felt her around. Like I have like this weird thing that I call, it's kind of like the heebie-jeebies. I always call it that because I really don't know what it is.
Sure, yeah.
And I definitely feel something a lot of the time. I'm like, something's here. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Feels harmless, but like I just feel uncomfortable. Like I feel this uneasiness. And a lot of the time, I think it's my grandmother. A lot of the time, and I've almost been in car accidents. Like anything could have happened to me, but a lot of the time, it's always been very close calls, and I think it's been her.
And you can feel that she's
Yeah.
like, looked out for
Yeah.
you and been like a guardian angel.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a cliche term, but
It's
it
crazy.
really is true, you know?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
And
And
you never even met her, but
I've
she's just
never
had
met-
your back.
Yeah, I've always felt attuned to like whenever I would see pictures of her, whenever I visited my father.
Okay.
I would always look at her pictures, and she's actually one of his sisters. So my aunt, she's a spitting image of my
Aw.
grandmother. So whenever I've seen pictures, I remember being little, and I'm like, "What's my aunt doing? Like, why do you have pictures of my aunt?" And they're like, "No, that's your grandma."
Wow.
And I've only visited her grave once. It's in the Dominican Republic as well.
Okay.
She's in a mausoleum, and there's like pictures and stuff. So I'm really hoping one day to go visit her
Yeah.
grave again and write a letter just to be like, "Hey, thank you for everything. Like, you've been looking out. I know you're here watching over me," type of thing.
Okay,
So.
listen, I might actually cry now.
It's very touching. I definitely think it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that sort of connection without actually ever meeting somebody.
100. I mean, it's remarkable to have that connection if you have met somebody, let alone somebody you haven't had the chance to meet. I have never felt that with anyone in my family who I didn't have a chance to meet, but I did with my grandmother who died when I was very young. So I understand that exact feeling you're talking about of like, it's not heebie-jeebies and like, oh, I'm in danger or something's wrong. It's that like, okay, who's here?
What's going on?
What do you want to talk about?
For
You
sure.
want to gossip?
Yeah, for sure. For
That's
sure.
so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had these experiences your whole life with your...
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say when I was growing up, when my parents were still together and we were living in the apartment that my dad had, a lot of the time, and it was kind of crazy, I would tell my best friend, I've known her since I was 4, and I told her, like, and she even remembers, like, I would mention it in passing, that I would hate to be in the hallway because it would give me this uneasiness of, like, I don't know, like, something's haunted.
Yeah.
But mind you, since I'm from New York City, these buildings are very old.
Yes.
So that could have been part of
And
it.
lots of people coming and going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I also definitely think like it had a lot to do with maybe my grandmother because I think it was just a lot of her presence there because my father grew up in that apartment.
Okay.
So he ended up, I think it ended up being passed to him, and so now he rents it out. He lives in Connecticut now. But, but the whole situation there is just like he keeps it because I think it's rent controlled.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty much why he still has it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love going back there because it's just memories and stuff.
Yeah.
So he grew up there, I grew up there, kind of,
It's
sort of.
home,
So
really,
yes,
yeah.
it still is home. It's very nice. And then also as well, I mean, like I've never had dreams with her, but I've definitely had dreams like with other experiences. I know we kind of talked about it prior. But my first experience, and I thought it was a fluke, it was my bird I had for 15 years. I had him, I think it was like right when I moved here 20 years ago.
And what's his name?
His name was Screechy. He was a rainbow lorikeet.
Okay.
Very beautiful bird. I actually have him taxidermied because he was too beautiful to be cremated, buried. I had to keep him around.
Okay.
So he has like he has an orange beak, red eyes, blue head, yellow neck, green body, and red chest. He was a very beautiful bird.
Okay, he sounds gorgeous.
He was beautiful.
Yeah.
And so he passed away. It was actually like, I think it was 2 months after I graduated college. So this was in 2018.
Okay.
And I think it kind of happened in good timing because right after that, I ended up moving out of my mom's, which is a side story. But I always think that that's like, I always feel like things always happen for a reason, at least in my situations.
Sure.
But at least when he passed away, like I was so worried about like if I moved out, what am I going to do with him? Because he's an exotic pet. Like, I really don't know what I'm going to do. And then he passed away. But it was so crazy because, like, the last thing I said to him, first of all, and I'm so grateful I said this because he wasn't looking well for a couple days. And he was already older. I had him for 15 years. Wow. And I didn't know the lifespan for rainbow lorikeets. I thought it was a little bit longer, but it was about 15 to 20 years is their average lifespan.
I would
so
never
it was in
have
that range.
guessed that. Like I would imagine it's like very short. But I have no idea.
It depends on the bird for sure. If they're bigger, they definitely last for longer, but if they're smaller, it could be less.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So about he was on the earlier end, but kind of within that range.
Yes, exactly. And so when he passed away, or right before he passed, and I was leaving for work, I was like, okay, you're not looking well. Mm-hmm. And I was like, before anything happens, in case, I was like, I love you. I'll be back for you soon. And then when my husband gave me the call that he found him in the cage, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my baby. But of course, you know, with passing, you know, you got to let the time to grieve and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was depressed for such a long time, too. Like,
it's
probably
hard.
2-3 months. It was my first, like, experience with something I was close to passing away.
It's your baby.
Yes. And for the longest time, too, I felt like I was hearing him, like, his chirps, his noises, and I was like, am I schizophrenic now? Like, what's going on? This is weird. And then I think it was about 2 months later, I wasn't expecting this, and then I get this dream with him. He comes and like, I just remember the background just being like full of clouds. Nothing too crazy. There was no background specifically, but he was just like there. And it was weird. Like it was kind of like, it looked like a movie. So it just kind of looked like the camera was kind of panning to him. And then he just goes, I know how much you love me. It's okay. Like, please don't grieve me too much. Like, I'm okay. And then I woke up crying. It was crazy. And I was like, there's no way. This was probably a fluke. Like, there's no way. And then my grandfather, this was my second experience. My grandfather, he had passed away. And I'm trying to remember what year it was. I think that was 2022.
Okay.
And so there was like this long story short, like I wasn't able to make it to his funeral. It actually ended up landing on my birthday. And I was ready to go, but like last minute, some arrangements were falling through, and I was like, okay, whatever. But crazy enough, I think it was maybe 4 months after he had passed. I wasn't expecting it. I just had this random dream, and it was like a replica of this moment that him and I had when I was like 7. We were like in this little park in the area where my aunt lives, because she lives in like a complex of like townhomes in New York City and Queens.
Okay.
And I remember the whole moment was him and I, we were walking there. We had like grandfather-granddaughter time. And he was just telling me the importance of like learning Spanish. Like we were just sitting on the bench and he was like giving me this little lecture or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. And so crazy enough with this dream, it was in the same exact setting. In that park, the same exact park, we were sitting next to each other, kind of like how we're sitting together here. And he just goes, I understand why you couldn't come to my funeral. It's okay. And I also recognize your accomplishments. I know that you've been busy like doing what you needed to do, so I get why like you couldn't come see me. And I love you and I'm proud of you, he said. Oh my gosh, that like to me was just like, okay, that when I thought about like the dream with my bird, I was like, okay, this is not a fluke. Like I have some like sort of sense around like that. You're I can like make connection. Yes. Yeah. And then also too, I had a senior dog that had passed away last year. It was actually 2 days before my honeymoon. That was a whole whirlwind. And I had a dream. Nothing crazy happened with him, but I had a dream with him. I think it was like maybe 5 months ago. And he was just like in our home, and we were just like, he was trying to get toys out of the basket. Like it was just like seeing him again.
It was like he was there.
He was there, and to this day, I still am hoping for him to come back. Like I'm still expecting him to come back. Like it was more like a see you later when he passed. It definitely felt that way.
That's such a weird feeling, and I totally understand that. Mm-hmm. And I know that feeling you're talking about with those dreams of like, it's a dream and you know it's a dream, but it feels so real.
Yes.
My dad passed away in 2018, and he has come to me in a dream before. Wow. And I try all the time, and I'm sure you do too. You're like, I wish I could have another dream like that. Like I want to talk to him again, and it doesn't work that way. It just has to happen. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe like they were talking earlier about lucid dreaming. Like I wish I could learn how to do that, and so like maybe I can make that happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's the same thing, because it almost feels like you're kind of tapping into this different realm instead of just dreaming. Yes. So I think that's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said you have had experiences here with Gary too?
Yes,
yeah?
I have. So I think it was maybe about a month ago now. I was actually working by myself, closing up on Saturday. So feel free to come visit me on Saturdays. And what happened was, like, I don't know what was going on with the doorbell, but like the door was closed. There was nobody really passing by, but the doorbell just kept ringing every couple of minutes. And I was like, what is going on with this thing? Like this never.
Getting pranked.
Yeah. And I was like, why is this happening? Like I'll walk around and I'm like, okay, what's with the sensor? And so I ended up telling Shannon and Holly about it, and they were like, yeah, that was probably Gary. He likes to mess with things, and they've told me about how, like, he's moved cameras and stuff, and he'll move around some things, and they'll mess with the doorbell, and I'm like, well, that's good to know. This place is haunted, which adds to the spooky feeling in here, so I appreciate that.
And it's playful.
Yeah, I call him a mischievous ghost. Like he makes me think of like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I was just gonna say Casper. He has Casper vibes.
Yes, very much so. So honestly, like a lot of the times if something tends to go wrong, I'm like, Gary, are you messing with me today? And I'll actually speak to him. I'm like, Gary, what you doing today? What's up with you today?
What's happening, Gary?
Yes.
Why today?
Yes. But it's really cool just being able to just be here, and something different can happen, you know?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Not even just with Gary, but even just like the people you meet, and it's really neat.
I think that's so special, and that's something that honestly I miss a lot about working like with the public is hearing people's stories, which sounds so silly, but it's true. Like even on busy days, you still get to hear people, or you're a part of their life, you're a part of their day, you're a part of their routine, probably for a lot of folks.
Pretty much.
That's really special. And you said you studied social work, so you really that's right up your alley.
It is. It very much is. And I just love being able to just meet people where they're at too, because it's like they mention something, and half the time I have something in common with anybody. I'm very like well-rounded, I feel like. So a lot of the times if they'll say like, oh, soccer. Like, even though I don't watch soccer, I'll be like, oh, my husband watches soccer. I know a little bit about that. Or like football. Like, I don't really watch football, but like I'll talk about maybe my husband or something again. Dogs. I always talk about people with their dogs, and
Dogs
I have my
everywhere.
own. Yeah, and I have a beagle. So
Somebody was just talking about their beagle a
Yeah.
minute ago.
Mhm.
Oh, that tall gentleman. That
Yes,
was in here.
yes, and it's just really cool because I love being able to tell people about that, and that was one of the other stories yesterday. Because I don't know if you've happened to hear about the Envigo beagles.
Is that the testing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like 4,000 beagles that were rescued.
Oh, it was a horrible story.
And this one guy had mentioned he had 2 beagles, and one of them was one of the rescues.
Oh, wow.
And mine is one of them as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are they
And-
related?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
They
not.
might be cousins. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I think it was like really neat just to kind of like bond over that too, because like he'll tell me some of his experiences. I think he got his dog when he was around a year old. I got mine when she was about like 12 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
So she was just born when the rescue
baby.
happened. So we were just talking about some things, and he was like, has your dog experienced like pottying in the house? And I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, she kind of does, like, and we were just kind of giggling around about like, dogs being goofy, beagle
Wow.
behaviors type of thing. So it's really cool.
So your beagle that you got, is that since your older dog passed away?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I actually had gotten her, I think it was like a year or two prior. So I got her
Okay.
in 2023. That's when she was
Yeah.
also born too, because she's 3 now.
Baby.
And so she was a little sister at first,
Yeah.
and then he passed away. And she enjoys being an only child, but
Yeah.
she also enjoys having that attention and having a buddy though too. So
That's hard. And it's
Yeah.
hard to like gauge when it's the right time and like when it's needed. Like Dave and I had, he had a dog when we met. This is actually how we met. He had a dog named Cody who was just turned 19 when he passed away this February. And I have a dog named Biggie who's 11. So they're both older, and we met walking our dogs, which sounds really cute and sweet. Oh, hello, friend.
oh, that's a waggy tail.
hello.
Oh my goodness.
You were so happy.
Very much so. I love it. I love seeing those waggy tails.
Come tell me your
Yes.
story, bud.
Right. Very cute.
Oh my gosh, I wish we had brought Biggie, but he's grumpy, and since Cody passed away, he has been like extra ornery and grumpy.
Aw. Old man behavior.
Yeah, and I keep thinking like we need to get him a little friend, but it is hard to have 2 dogs to deal with, especially if one's older and like
Yes.
I don't know if that'll happen. But
Yeah.
I sure do miss Cody. I know it must be so hard.
Yes.
sometimes still.
All the time.
You get home and you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just be like, oh, we're missing something. Like,
Yeah.
part of the family's missing. So it's definitely like, it's like bittersweet because it's like, I do enjoy having my beagle, but she definitely loved her brother so much. Like, I have a bunch of pictures of when they were like cuddling together, like, and he would chew her ears, and they would get all like crusty when they were like that. And I'm like, what happened to you? And then I'll see him just gnawing in her ears, and I'm like, oh, he loves her
He
too.
loves her, yeah.
So cute. It was great.
That's so special, and I'm glad you have those pictures. That's such a happy memory.
Yes, very much so. Core memories, if you will. Hi, good morning. Well, I'll go ahead and help some of our customers too, but thank you so much.
Thank you for chatting with me. I love these stories. Hi, pals. For this episode, the code word is siren. All right, guys, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about the history of Richmond and Churchill and the Churchill Tunnel. Honey Baked Bee, like I mentioned before, is in the Churchill neighborhood in Richmond. Richmond has a history back to the Powhatan Nation centuries and centuries ago, and it has been an incorporated city since 1742, and then in the 1800s it became like a railroad hub. So the Churchill Tunnel was built in the late 1800s for C&O Railway, and it was basically an effort to connect Richmond to essentially Newport News. And it was about 4,000 feet long. It began east of 18th Street in the Shockoe Bottom area of Richmond, and it ended near 31st Street, which is by Libby Hill Park. So because of this landscape and this area around here, building the tunnel was actually quite a lot of trouble, and the clay, the soil and the clay changed with fluctuations in rainfall and groundwater, and that has caused all kinds of problems such as sinkholes and collapses and cave-ins and things like that. So building the tunnel was really complicated. It did not go great. And in the 1890s, C&O Railway decided instead they were going to build a viaduct. So it's like a raised bridge, essentially, to connect the R&A railroad tracks coming from the west and the C&O railroad tracks headed east. And this would allow train traffic to divert around like the downtown and state capitol, that area. And it also helped them to avoid that Churchill Tunnel, which obviously was going through some issues. So the tunnel basically ended up falling into an abandoned state for a couple of decades, and then C&O decided to restore the tunnel for use. But on October 2nd of 1925, a work train with over 200 workers was performing repairs when a boiler ruptured, and the tunnel ended up collapsing near the western end of the tunnel. So most of the workers were able to crawl out and escape through the eastern end of the tunnel, but there was an engineer and 2 laborers who did not make it out. The body of the engineer, whose name was Thomas Joseph Mason, was recovered from the rubble on October 10th, but Richard Lewis and H. Smith were never found. So, essentially, this tunnel ended up getting sealed off with the train and these 2 missing laborers inside. Still, this tunnel is sealed up. You can still see the western entrance at the southeast end of an alley off of 18th Street. So there's an apartment complex there. Please do not trespass on private property. You can see it. There's also a historical marker there. It is honestly kind of cool to see, not gonna lie. But like I said, please use caution and don't trespass. The eastern end is hidden in kind of like, it's a covered bush area, and it's very marshy. It is definitely not someplace I would go exploring, even if it wasn't illegal. But if you are curious, you are able to see that. There are obviously a lot of legends about this area being haunted. The Churchill area itself is really historic. Someone actually came in here earlier and was telling me about their historic house and some of the things that they experienced there. But in addition to that, specifically around the tunnel, people in this area have reported hearing a train whistle at night, hearing voices coming from the tunnel. Now, as a skeptic myself, I do want to point out that this is an area that has a fair amount of activity at all hours. People are out wandering. There's restaurants, there's bars, there's all kinds of stuff in this area. And I don't know, it's busy streets. There are lots of other train tracks around here. It's possible that it's just residual sounds from the actual tunnel collapse, but it's also possible that it's just sound playing tricks on you from the area in general. That being said, I don't know. I haven't experienced it myself. I can't say for sure. If you're interested in learning more and maybe experiencing it for yourself, I would personally recommend checking out the Haunts of Richmond ghost tours. They have tours of all of Richmond all the time. They're wonderful. They're a local company. I'm definitely going to tag them because there is a national chain that has come to town. They are trying to mislead people a bit. It is super shady, and we would like to be good neighbors and book with the legit local Haunts of Richmond company. And then they also have this year on the anniversary, on the weekend of the 100th anniversary of this train tunnel collapse tragedy, they're going to hold commemorative tours centered around that history specifically. So if that's something you're interested in, like I said, please check out Haunts of Richmond and give one of their tours a try. All right, guys, I have one more story to tell you. This is related to the Churchill Tunnel collapse. This is one of the probably best known urban legends about Richmond as a whole. This is something I did write a blog about. I will link that for you so you can read more about it. But unfortunately, while the railroad workers' story ends with the tunnel being sealed, supposedly something much darker, a darker story, if you will, began actually when the tunnel was even being constructed back in the 1870s. So legend has it that when the digging began under Churchill, an ancient evil stirred awake, and it started havoc during the creation of the tunnel. So supposedly all the trouble that was happening when they built the Churchill Tunnel was because of this quote-unquote ancient evil. It culminated, so they say, with the collapse of the tunnel in 1925. So the legend of the Richmond vampire starts with the Churchill Tunnel collapse. Legend has it that when the rescue teams were digging to see if there were any survivors, they encountered this blood-covered creature with jagged teeth and skin hanging from its body, and it was crouched over one of the victims. And so they said that as they raced away, a group of men pursued this creature, and they saw it run towards the river, the James River, and into the Hollywood Cemetery, into the mausoleum of W.W. Poole. So there is an actual mausoleum in the Hollywood Cemetery for W.W. Poole, whose tomb reads 1913. Poole was said to have been exiled from England in the 1800s once it was discovered that he was a vampire, and his tomb does have interesting elements from both Masonic and Egyptian architecture, and the W kind of reminds people of vampires' fangs. You guys, that's about where I'm gonna say that the connection ends, or that there's any real proof about this. The actual story is a little less interesting. From where we are here, if folks were chasing this quote-unquote creature towards the James River, you can't then see them run into a mausoleum in Hollywood Cemetery from that vantage point. So that part is not true. There's no evidence really to support the idea that Poole was any kind of vampire. In fact, he was actually born in Mississippi, not in Britain. He worked here in a tobacco factory, and he was a bookkeeper here in Richmond until sometime in the early 1900s. And then in 1922, at age 80, he passed away and was buried in the family tomb with his wife, who passed away in 1913, which is where that date comes from. So sadly, the lore kind of has led to extensive vandalism of this mausoleum at Hollywood Cemetery, and their bodies ended up having to be relocated. So it's kind of a sad story. The story surrounding Poole is really not anything more than a legend, and it ended up causing some actual real people to, not be able to rest in peace. So there's obviously a lot of places that you can go and look into this a little bit further. You can follow the footsteps of the legend itself, but it really is probably just a legend. Now, there's a piece of this that might have some truth to it. And I think that a lot of times stories, you do have some element of truth, even if it is just a legend overall. What they think may have happened, and this is a local researcher named Gregory Maitland, they believe that the creature was probably one of the workers named Benjamin Mosby, who escaped the tunnel and then later passed away from his injuries. They think that the accounts of the broken teeth and the skin and all of that, it probably would be from the explosion and the injuries that he incurred from that event. Not to mention he'd probably be quite in shock. And so his strange behavior probably is also pretty easily explained. That being said, you know, it's not really an open shut case. There's not really records supporting this. There's not any records supporting Mosby being the vampire either. So again, probably just stems from a legend that came from a story being passed telephone style down through the years about this creature emerging from the tunnel who probably was just someone who was injured in the explosion. All right, so where can you go if this is something that interests you and you want to know more about it? Like I said, you could absolutely look into one of these Richmond Haunts tours. You also can visit the Churchill neighborhood of Richmond if you're nearby. I highly recommend it, even if you're not into spooky stuff. There's lots of great restaurants. It's a super walkable, historic neighborhood. People are really kind. There's dogs everywhere. And obviously Honey Baked Bee has delicious treats for you to eat. You can visit the western end of the Churchill Tunnel. You can check out the James River. I personally would recommend popping down to Shiplock Park. It's just down the hill from here, and it's a really great little walk. And then definitely take some time and go visit Hollywood Cemetery. I know it's not as common anymore for folks to go and spend the afternoon wandering a cemetery, unless you're one of our people. But it is a really beautiful place to walk around. It's very well kept, and you can see some of the absolutely beautiful artwork at some of these grave sites and mausoleums. So, that being said, hopefully we get some more spooky stories to share with you. We're gonna eat some treats. Dave just showed up, so now it's treat time. Would you like to sit with me and enjoy a brookie? Yeah. Yes, please. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's that? Oh, your cupcake. Birthday cupcake. This is Dave. We're eating snacks. Brookie. We have brookie and pumpkin bread. Best pumpkin bread I've ever had in my whole life.
You don't want coffee.
I want a sip.
Yeah.
Better? Thank you.
I don't know if I'll make that. There we go. Better or worse?
Either way, I'm a mess. And I did learn that there is a sinkhole outside of here. That is because of the Churchill Tunnel. And I got to see some really cool spooky footage from the security camera. Because Gary likes to mess with the security cameras. Sneaky, sneaky. So the place that I'm staying either next week or week after, so my bonus mom is coming to visit, and we're staying at the Linden Row Inn, and it's supposed to be haunted, and it's supposed to be haunted by Poe himself. He supposedly wanders the garden. We'll see. I will be probably impressed and happy if I experience something, but I don't know. I might be more frightened. I don't know. Oh, I do have one spooky story to share that did take place here in Richmond. I think I've shared this before on the podcast, but when I was planning to move to this apartment building, I had these like thoughts that something bad had happened there, which didn't make any sense because it hadn't even been open a year when I had started like the application process to move in or whatever. And in my head, I was just like, something bad happened there, something bad happened there. And I couldn't get it out of my head, but I decided to go for it and move in anyway. And then once I moved in, I didn't have that feeling again. And every now and then in my first apartment there, particularly, I would get these feelings that there was somebody, something, a ghost around. And I never saw anything, never felt like I was, scared or in danger, just kind of a feeling. But then I had an evening where I was in my bathroom and I was taking a shower and my hair was wet and I had this feeling, and I had like shampooed my hair and everything already, and I was just like washing, and I all of a sudden felt my hair get pulled up almost like a ponytail, which is weird, right? Like that's not something that I could explain, because sometimes your hair gets caught. If you have long hair, it'll get caught on your skin while you're showering, it'll get caught on the shower curtain or something, and you kind of feel a little, but this was like all the way, like I had like a ponytail. And I said, you cannot bother me, you cannot bother my dog, you cannot touch us, and it went away. That's the only time I ever felt like uneasy in my apartment. And it's funny because, I never really thought much of it. Like I said, I didn't feel unsafe or anything, but it was unexplainable. And then I met a friend of mine, her name is Tracy, she lives here in Richmond, and we met at Michigan Paracon, and we live only a few miles from each other here. But Tracy was telling me that we're not far from what they call the triple crossing. So I'm gonna mess this part up probably. I'm gonna wait for that to stop buzzing. So the triple crossing is
It's the only place. It's the only place in the continental United States, or one of the two places, that the three major rail lines in that area cross.
They cross, but it also crosses with the canal, like two surface streets, the highways there. It's just a bunch of stuff converging, right? And like I said, the river is there, and anyone who's into paranormal stuff knows that like water is supposed to be like a conduit, right? So Tracy has this theory that the reason that I was experiencing all these things in that building, that apartment, is because with that triple crossing, the road, it's like a major liminal space, plus you have the water from the river. So it's kind of just like things are coming through, and nothing's like sticking around. It's just like a highway. So that is my one like spooky experience myself here in Richmond. But I do love hearing everybody's spooky stories from around here. I would really like to thank Shannon and the folks here at Honey Baked Bee so much for having us today. Generally, this is the part where I would ask if our guest wants to become a member of the secret society of the Spooky Sisterhood, but I don't want to interrupt their festivities, so we'll have them take the oath later and I'll get them their pins. But please go check out Honey Baked Bee's website and their socials so you can keep up on everything they've got going on. And you can get to their links by visiting beacons.ai/spooky sisterhood. A big thank you to our Patreon pals. If you'd like to join, you can go to patreon.com/spooky sisterhood and check out all of our amazing perks and bonus content that we've got for you over there. Otherwise, if there's no more business, this meeting of the Secret Society of the Spooky Sisterhood is adjourned. I'm going to go eat some more treats and hang out with Gary the Ghost. And until next time, keep it spooky, pals. Until next time, keep it spooky, sibs. I said my thing wrong.
You're just a mess.
It's because all I can think about is pumpkin bread. I'm going to leave that part in. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That chocolate chips. It's on down to Halloween season, y'all. This year we've got an amazing grand prize package that we're giving away on Halloween. For information on how you can enter, visit our website, which is spookysisterhood.com/events. And please don't forget to check out all of our incredible paranormal partners. A huge thank you to the Smell of Fear Candle Company, Beacons TV, Spooks and Sparkles, Cryptid Comforts, Dave Hemmings, Adela Levine, Night Shift Paranormal, Lauren Haunts, and Spirit Jersey. Please go see all the wonderfully spooky things they have to offer today.